Hey! Hey
Hello.
kids, it's me, Johnny Fox. This is Fox Tales Weekend Edition, so you know this is going to get messy. With me tonight, Ryan Howard. Oh, yes, he's off to a good
Hello, Rod.
start. This is going to be good. Maybe as good as this. I'm saying no more. Anyway, I'm going to hand you straight over to Ryan, and he can tell you a little bit more about who he is and what he does.
Okay. So my name's Ryan Howard, and I've built one of the only. There's a couple out there, but one of the only fully working Johnny Five replicas on the planet. He's hand built, hand machined. I am completely self-taught. I didn't do very well at school. I was a car mechanic, not even a particularly good one at that. And yeah, I became a forklift engineer. And I thought I needed to sort of earn the title engineer. So I taught myself how to machine. And that was the start of it. You know, it was, yeah, I did most of it during the pandemic. So kept me busy then. And yeah, I didn't think anyone would really care. I sort of built him for myself just to prove to myself that I had a brain in there somewhere. And it
Wow.
turns out, yeah, that people really, really, really love Johnny Five. It's
Oh, everybody loves Johnny Five.
yeah.
Who
So
doesn't love Johnny? If you have no soul, it's like Johnny Five and like the littlest hobo,
yeah,
right?
yeah, you've got to love him, haven't you?
If you don't just go, oh, and want to cuddle it when you see it, then you have no soul. It is what it is. So, yeah, so I'm guessing, like, of all things you could have picked, I mean, you're already a fan of the movie, I guess.
Yeah.
Or did it just seem like, an interesting project?
No, I mean, I pretty much wore the VHS tape of Short Circuit out when I was a kid. I've always been interested in robots of all descriptions. I mean, I love Johnny Five, but I appreciate him as much as a robot, as a character. I mean, Eric Allard designed him, and he's a wonderful piece of kit. You know, he's brilliant as terms of a working robot. But Johnny Five seemed to be the one, really. You know, the thing is, there isn't really that many sort of working robots in the film industry. Not definitely not as complex as Johnny Five. Most of it tend to go towards CGI now, and yeah, he is. He's fantastically complex, and I wanted to jump in the deep end. You know.
Yeah, if anybody's still wondering, just to clarify, we're not talking like a model here, like a toy or like a 12-inch kind of a thing. We're talking the full size. So what's he come in at? Like 6 foot?
Yeah, I mean, it varies in height simply because all the actuators can
There
send
we
him
go.
up or
Yeah.
down. But when he's fully crouched down, maybe 4 foot, but it can go all the way up to 9.
Yeah.
I should imagine. I've never actually measured it, but when he's tiptoeing and all his torso is extended and his neck's extended, I think 9's a bit far. Probably 7.5, maybe. But he's really tall.
So did you have
Yeah.
to get? So you've got so you're working to like a set of like official, specs you could get hold of from the original movie design.
Yeah, so where I got it from originally, there's a very long and convoluted sort of backstory to this. But back in the early 2000s, a group called Robotic Endeavours paid for a chap to go to Eric Allard's studio and strip down and measure the original Johnny Five. And yeah, I'd say there's a long story behind that, but around about 2016, they published sort of, I don't know, maybe 70% complete CADs online. And basically, whatever wasn't finished, I did. They're getting towards the end now, but I did it before anyone else. I had to teach myself how to do CAD design because I wanted to do it. But to get a fully working Johnny Five, and I didn't want to wait for them to do it, so hence why mine is one of the first.
Crazy to think it's to think it's 2024. But
Yeah,
to think it's been all this time before someone's done this.
I
I mean,
know.
that
Yeah,
tells you the complexity of the thing, I think.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, you have to, you know, put it this way: there's been a lot of people that contact me, and I'm always happy to talk about Johnny Five to them. But there's a lot of people that contact me and start, and I never hear from them again. You know, because once they see what you have to do and the money you have to sink into it, I think anyone that's sane very quickly goes, "No way!" You know, it's incredible how much money you can quite easily sink into this, particularly if you're not willing or got the time to be able to do it yourself and teach yourself how to machine, because that's where the big money comes in. Doing it yourself as opposed to going to an engineering company and getting someone to do it for you. But in my personal opinion, I think part of the magic is doing it yourself. You know, it's a journey.
Imagine he's got to feel like one of the family.
Oh, he
After
very
going
much is.
through all,
You
it's
know,
going to be very
yeah,
much like a, you know,
yeah.
and then carried
I
him for
made the
much
joke
longer than
here,
9
called
months
him the
before the
third
actual
metal
birth.
child. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, and you evidently you carried him for a lot longer than 9 months before being able to
Yeah.
give birth, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, the ironic thing is my little CNC that I had, and was actually on my first son's baby changing table in my garage, and I think that's quite poignant. That I was changing my son's nappies on this, baby changing table, but also creating Johnny Five after it sort of ran out of its use.
Oh, fantastic,
Yeah.
fantastic. So you've got so he moves, he drives, he can speak.
Yep, he's more functional than the original in terms of. I mean, it's all with the aid of modern electronics, but for example, if he needed to pop his eyes out in the film, they use a different head for that, or the red eyes, or various other bits and bobs. They would just use a different model, a different header, whereas with the aid of modern electronics, you can quite easily fit that in there.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So did you in order to get the voice?
Yeah.
Is that how'd you pull that off?
Um,
Did you just like rip it from the movie? Is there some sort of AI involved, or how's
no,
that? How do you get the?
I don't use AI. One of the great things that's come of this is I've become quite good friends with Tim Blaney, the original voice of Number Five, and he's strongly against AI, and quite rightly so. It's his livelihood. Yeah, so out of respect, I've never done that. So a lot of it is ripping it from the film, or I will do the voice. Hi, it's Number Five. How are you? And it's good enough for someone who thinks they're getting a happy birthday wish from Number Five to be fooled, and I think that's again part of the magic. If it makes them happy, then I think that's a nice thing.
Oh God,
they don't need to.
God knows we need some happy.
Tell me about it. Yeah, there's enough in the world.
On fire. So,
yeah.
So what are your plans going forward now with him? Is there just like, okay, that was a lot of stress, but a lot of fun, and it's an achievement, and I'm proud of myself. Next, or will you be? I don't know. Like, do you do the convention scene, or?
A little bit of everything there, to be fair. I mean, he's always been worked on. I mean, I've been through around 8 different head iterations, improving and adding things. His arms, again, about the same amount, and complete redesigns to improve and improve and improve, or perhaps it had a little bug or something that I wasn't quite happy with. So he's always been improved. I've done the convention scene for about 18 months. From the first one I did, he absolutely blew up. I couldn't believe the sheer demand for Johnny Five when I created him. I've done it for about 18 months, like I say, and I think we've done 75 conventions, and that includes also going to Dallas in America. We're booked for Barcelona next year, Munich, and no end of ones within the UK.
Oh,
So yeah, it's great.
oh man, yeah, it's gonna blow it. You're gonna be in demand. It's definitely. I mean, because we're not going to see from a robotics standpoint.
Yeah,
That's a whole sort of fan base is just going to be interested. And
exactly.
then
Even
obviously
if you get a Johnny Five is,
then
everyone
there's
loves
the
a big
movie
robot.
fan base.
Yeah,
So like, that's a lot of people that are going to be very interested in seeing this thing.
yeah. I agree. Like I say, the demand blew me away. I didn't quite realise how much people love him. So much so, one of my next sort of projects coming along is I've been sponsored to build a second Johnny Five by 3 companies, and they've supplied me all the metal work, all the fasteners, and a big gantry CNC. And I've already made, a good start on that. And I've actually got some right next to it. So to give you some sort of idea of how big he is, that's just his cradle base.
Oh,
So
there you
if you
go.
imagine that, where the rear caster is here, and the track drive sit here, and I've got a whole assembly just here. Let's roll over. So this is this track drive.
Ooh,
It's huge. So if you've got you sort of idea of
yeah.
how
Wow.
incredibly big he is, and what's one of the first things that most people say when they meet him is like, "Wow, I can't believe he's huge." And he's like, "Yeah, he's a big boy."
Yeah. Oh man, that's fantastic. So I've got to go there because I'm not shy of a little bit of controversy on this show. So we can't really talk about Johnny Five. We can't talk about Short Circuit without the fact that if you haven't seen this film, kids, the fact that you're not gonna unless maybe a parent or an older sibling has a physical copy you can see because you won't find it out there streaming because there's a modern day issue around a certain character
Yeah.
of Indian heritage
Yes.
played by an actor who is not
No.
of Indian heritage.
No.
And
Yeah,
people are scared
he's
to show
a
the
New
film
York
now.
Jewish chap.
It's apparently it's offensive. I mean, didn't blackface or anything. Just
No,
the
he didn't
right
go that far, I don't think.
the right
Yeah.
hairstyle and the accent
Yeah.
was all it took. I mean, I was like pretty fucking old before I realized, like I lived, quite a life without ever knowing.
I, I
It
was
never
exactly the
occurred to
same,
me
and I lived and breathed it. Yeah.
So and he's like, after Johnny, he's probably everybody's second favorite character.
Yeah, I
He's
agree. Yeah.
funny as fuck. He
Yeah.
has all the
Yeah.
best lines.
He does, yeah. He's, and he play. I personally think he plays it incredibly well. And apparently, he did a lot of. He spent a lot of time in India preparing for his role, and when he came out, a lot of people, including the Indian community, thought he was an Indian actor. So
Yeah.
I think that's pretty impressive. Rightly or wrongly,
I mean,
this day, but that's pretty impressive.
yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't want to get too fucking political
Yeah.
about it, but
Yeah.
I mean, obviously this is a fucking white guy saying this, but given that the character is a hero character, he's on the good guy's side, and
Yeah.
he's a nice guy, and you want him to succeed, and he
Of course.
does. So like, there are no negative connotations.
Yeah, none of it's done in hate. I agree.
It's not derivative or
Yeah.
in any way, except for if you wanted an Indian, why did you put a casting call out to, for an Indian actor? I mean, I do get that.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that, but Fisher Stevens, kids, you might know him as Raj from Friends.
Yeah.
Who's also fantastic.
Yeah.
Because those cups may as well have nipples on them. That is true. Which is almost as good as some of the lines he has in Short Circuit.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, there it is. I mean,
it's a thing of
we've
the 80s.
addressed it.
Yeah, it's the same.
The elephant in
Same
the
as
room's been
Vasquez. Vasquez from Aliens. She wasn't Latino. She. I didn't realise that it was John Connor's surrogate mother. Would you say? You know, obviously because Sarah Connor is locked up for being insane because she thinks a Terminator's coming after him. But it's John Connor's foster mother that stabbed the boyfriend through the head. That's Vasquez, and I didn't know that. And going back to Fisher Stevens, I grew up watching the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of the Goombas in that, and I must have watched that 1,000 times, and it never once occurred to me I was looking at him.
And again, I mean, seeing as you brought it up, that's the Super Mario Brothers movie. It's the Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo.
Yeah. I love
it. That everybody hates, and that's terrible. But I will always have a soft spot for that film. I don't really know why.
Yeah.
I just think, yes, it's crap, but everybody does look like they're having fun.
It's never takes it so seriously, really. Yeah. It's good fun.
To see Dennis Hopper, to see, a genuinely like AAA Academy Award winning actor, the caliber of Dennis Hopper, doing that shit. I mean, they didn't even agree to do a character like that. Because of course he would, because he's an actor. That's what actors do. They get paid to play pretend.
Exactly.
And have fun. That looks like fun. And I like it. I mean, well, I don't know if I like it. Well, no, fuck it. No, I like it. I like it. I watch it. I've seen it way too many times for a film that's as bad as it's supposed to be.
It doesn't get as much love as I think it. I think that people are taking it too serious. And every now and again, I find myself quoting, whenever I hear elevator music, the Goombas are dancing again. And I don't know why. It's one of those.
Again, so you had a British guy playing Mario, but this is Mario. This is what? Like an Italian-American plumber, but it's a Japanese character, and so it's fucked up from its very origins.
Oh yeah,
and
it's sort of like, even though Mario is it's very cartoony and made for fun. It's quite a dark film, really, especially when they go to I don't know where the place they go to is, the underworld or whatever it is. Yeah, it's a strange one, but like all 80s films, 90s, 80s, 90s films.
I mean, I'll watch that Mario Brothers movie. I'll watch Howard the Duck straight after.
That one gets a lot of hate as well. Yeah,
because I'm still waiting for a terrible CG reboot. I mean,
it's coming.
I don't really want a terrible CG reboot, but it's coming.
Don't mention it. They'll pay you and they'll make it because they're
listening. Although I believe Seth Green has some kind of fingers in the Howard the Duck rights pie.
Right. Okay.
And I think Seth Green would probably do what he can, use what strings he could pull to try and veer away from an overly CG kind of a thing. Because I think he's sort of one of us. He's a bit of a nerd.
Yeah, because everything is going that direction. I mean, I half jokingly say that nearly every single reboot I've seen of an 80s film is terrible, or in general, reboot, they tend to be terrible. Though, call me what you want, but I like the War of the Worlds remake. I thought that was pretty good, and but yeah, I don't know whether they should reboot Short Circuit. I want to see it, but I know I won't be happy with it already. I know now before it's even started.
You'll be happy enough when you're getting the phone call.
You know what? It happened with the droid builders. Again, I somewhat talked to the droid builders, and they've told me that when they made the prequels, they literally got the best of the droid building community to build the droids for them. And I didn't think much of it. And then one day I thought, oh, God, what if they contact me if they want to make another short circuit?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'd be down for that. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, it it could happen. It
Yeah,
could happen.
exactly.
I
Stranger
mean,
things have happened.
yeah, it sounds like, well, if they're phoning anyone, they're phoning you. Um, apparently, because we've got we've got the Gremlins reboot
Yep.
that nobody wants.
Yeah.
Also on the way,
Yeah.
whether we like it or not.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I believe there's a ton of issues with that. Regards the guy that created the puppets, the guy that has all the appropriate specs and everything
Yeah.
for the puppets is like, they're doing a reboot. I doubt it because they haven't phoned me. Anytime people ask him,
Yeah.
so
Which
it's
is
like,
worrying anyway,
yeah,
because it's either not happening or it's being done without him,
yeah,
and that's worrying.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, I wouldn't put too much stock
Yeah.
in him saying it's not happening because they don't need him. It'd be better. I think it'd be better. I think CG can be great. I think it can
Yeah.
enhance what you're doing. I think there's obviously there's places you want to go in your brain, in your head
Yeah.
with storytelling. There's
I
crazy
agree.
shit you want to do that just ain't ever going to be practical.
Mm.
But even if it takes a few quid and it takes a bit of time, a robot you could do, you know?
Yeah. I mean, if I can do it, then of course they can do it.
Yeah.
You know, you know that will always be there. They can't turn around and say, "Oh, it's too expensive or too difficult." Because I did terribly at school and I managed it, so they've got no excuses coming from me.
So, so from terrible at school
Yeah.
to roboteer, is that even a word? Or,
What's it? I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know what I'm called.
So, what connects those dots in between? What do you do for a day job?
Well, now I full time Johnny Five. I build little models as well, like the ones from the second film. You know, the ones that at the start scurrying around. I make them and ship them around the world, and it's great because you know they never made any merchandise aside from a few posters for any of the short circuit films. So it's nice that people that want stuff like that can have them.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I say very recently, as soon as a week ago today, my wife opened a tattoo and piercing store in Nottingham, in Hucknall specifically, called Red Rocket, and it's become a short circuit shrine because I spend all my time there making models, and that's where Johnny is now. He is actually a permanent resident of that store.
Great.
So you can come in and see him if you're ever in the area. Please come in and come have a chat with me. But there's an entire wall of our entire journey of going to Dallas and meeting Steve Guttenberg, meeting Tim Blaney, the voice and puppeteer of Johnny Five, being in all the papers. I mean, I still don't know how I've done it. I really don't.
Now, you see, kids, this is why I do this, because when my sort of dreams of rock stardom all went up in smoke, and I've been lost for a little while.
Yeah.
And I've started doing this because, regardless of my failures, kids, if you have the passion, the integrity, and the energy, and you make the time, and you put the work in, because all the passion in the world is great. We all love a thing.
Yeah.
But there's got to be hard work. You've got to be willing to put that work in. You've got to take some risks.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's not a guarantee.
No.
It's not a guarantee. It's
But your
risky.
chances
But
go
if you do,
up
it can
all
work.
the time.
It
Yeah.
can become your full time thing.
Yeah, I agree.
That's good to know. Because as I've started getting into doing this, I really kind of wouldn't mind if I didn't have to go back to work on Monday because we've done this, you know. But hey, it is what it is. Maybe I'll
Yeah,
get there.
let's hope so.
Maybe I won't. Maybe I'm
Let's
too
hope so.
fucking
Yeah.
lazy to put the work in because I just like doing the thing too much.
Yeah, and it's great. And if you've got the energy and you enjoy it, and you're doing it for the right reasons, I think, yeah, there's every chance that that can happen. You know,
Yeah, it does work.
I'm evidence of that. I would be, you know, if it wasn't for Johnny Five, there's a very good chance that, you know, on Monday I'd be under a forklift in some mud somewhere, covered in hydraulic oil, like I used to be. And yeah, and if I can do it, like I said, I did terribly at school. I find it ironic. I've done a lecture at Nottingham, the Trent University, and I've been asked to go and do a lecture at Loughborough University. And I think they really shouldn't be asking me to do this because I'm not a good advocate for this, you know. Because I mean, I'm not going to be straight down the line and say, "Look, you're wasting your time," because I learned all this on YouTube, you know.
Yeah.
But because of course engineering's got its place, but yeah, I really do think to myself, I'm not entirely sure why you're asking me to be here because, you know, I'm very, very grateful to be here. But yeah, I'm not the cleverest of people. And if I can do it, then anyone else can.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. So we talked a fair bit about Johnny Five. Kids, Johnny Five replica. Get on those socials, follow it, check it out. You'll want to see it. You can see it. It's not a million miles away. I mean, unless of course you're watching this in Abu Dhabi or wherever,
Yep.
such as the power of the internet. But
Yep.
if you're UK based, it's a tiny island. I mean, I don't want to walk it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but it's a relatively tiny island. Go check it
It's
out.
not
Get yourself a tattoo
impossible.
while you're at it.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, tattoo piercing, and like I say, we've got plenty for you to come and see. We've got artwork from people that love Johnny Five. We've got a bit of something for everyone. You know, we've got lots of '80s memorabilia there as well. But particularly if you like Short Circuit, then yeah, come and have a sit down with me, and we'll chat. I'll chat about robots and Johnny Five
again,
all day.
if you haven't seen it, that's your homework for tonight, kids.
Yeah,
Right? You've got the internet.
yeah.
Again, I shouldn't say this. Between us, you've got the internet because you're watching this.
Yeah.
So
It's accessible.
will be out there somewhere. I'm not going to post a link. I'm sure you're all smart enough to find it on your own.
Yeah.
But you will be able to find it out there somewhere. I have a feeling a small hairy guy from the Sheffield area is probably going to be watching it again at some point this weekend, inspired by this. So I guarantee you it's out there somewhere. Do yourselves a favour, check it out. It's fucking timeless. It's a
believe the first one is actually on Amazon. The first one. I think so. The second one's not on much. It's very rare that one's on, but the first one is, I'm pretty sure it's still on Amazon. Yeah.
Okay, go for it, kids.
Yep.
Hey, so let's get to know Ryan a little bit better.
Okay.
This is the thing I do. Yeah. We're just going to play a quick game of this or that.
Oh, okay.
There's no wrong answers. There's no prizes.
You'd be surprised. Okay. Go on.
No. There's no wrong answers. We start, as I always do, with the boring as fuck. Cats or dogs?
Cats.
Cats.
Yep.
Cats. Far more cat people than dog people so far since I've been doing this.
Okay.
As I say to everyone, yeah, cats are great, but and I know they kind of can be sort of hard to pick up, but when you get the chance, pick them up, keep checking the paws, because if cats ever get thumbs, we're fucked.
Yep.
It's game over.
Yep. I would say though, cats choose you. Dogs love you regardless, but cats choose you.
Yes.
I like dogs. We've got two dogs, but yeah.
You know, I found out recently, cats have an actual parasite that transfers to other things, but it's really, really prone to transfer to humans.
Okay.
It's kind of like a parasite. It's a neurological thing that then makes you like cats. So the cats are implanting you and brainwashing you into liking cats. And then,
yeah, okay. I mean, as far as parasites go, I can think of far worse. But
then, just to really, because this is cats in a nutshell, and then after implanting you with a brainwashing, cat-loving parasite, the cat then fucking ignores you.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
because
yeah,
such is the cat's want.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. They're in charge.
so very strange. Anyway, beer or wine?
Well, tonight it's wine, but either or. If I've got to choose one, probably wine. Yeah,
Wine not.
yeah,
See what I did there?
yeah.
Okay. Pizza or kebab?
Pizza.
Is that like a vegetarian thing or just a turtle thing?
No, I don't know. I just prefer pizza. I always have.
Yeah,
That's the spicier the better as well.
fantastic pizzas. Always remember, wise men say forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza. Um,
Yeah,
Words to live by right there,
yeah,
kids. Another one to look up on that old internet if you've not seen it.
yeah.
Country retreat or city living?
Um, Probably country retreat. I live not too far from the city, and once a year we go to the back of beyond in Scotland, and yeah, I like the change, and that's where I go to relax. So yeah,
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 reset.
yeah.
Skydiving or scuba diving?
Scuba diving.
Have you?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. I haven't done skydiving. I've done a bit of scuba diving,
Oh,
and I loved it. Yeah, it's great.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I do like to do for fun to challenging yourself, new horizons, or like a lot of people do it as a charity thing.
It was actually my dad was big into it, and he says, "Why don't you come and give it a go?" And
All
I
right.
did, and it wasn't, I'll never say never. It was a bit of a one-off just to give it a go, but it was very very good. It's expensive, unfortunately, and building Johnny Five doesn't leave much spare money, as my wife would probably tell you. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it's more of a tranquil thing, and you can really like take it in as opposed to skydiving. I should imagine it's a couple of minutes of oh my god, I'm going to die, and then oh my
Yeah,
god, I didn't die. You know.
yeah. I mean, I've never done neither, but both. Yeah, in their own ways.
Yeah,
Um, okay. Big parties or small gatherings?
small gatherings.
Quality over quantity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
a, despite speaking to a lot of people all the time, I've been on the news and things like been on BBC Breakfast and things like that. I'm a quite a shy person. With I'd say I've had a lot of anxiety issues in the past, and it was to prove to myself, look, if I can do this, I can do anything. And I did it. And again, I was on telly with like my heart going.
Oh yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
but yeah, I take a pub quiz or quite a few drinks with the friends over
Yeah.
a big party any day. Yeah,
I started doing this because it was a get out the comfort zone thing.
yeah,
Because it's you know it's one thing I did like the first couple of episodes I did with friends
yeah.
as you do, and then started reaching out to completely random fucking roboteers.
All sorts of
So
people.
all of this is like we're meeting for the first time, but I'm hoping somehow I can have this great fun conversation like
Yeah,
two friends on a Saturday night having a drink and just chilling.
exactly. Yeah,
To the point where it was all a get out your comfort zone thing, and now I'm like, could I take this out live in some way? Could I do this like on stage in front of actual people like I used to do in
yeah,
the band? Is there a way I could do that? So like I'm just pushing things further and
yeah,
more ridiculous because
yeah.
life's
And
ridiculous.
it sounds good.
You've
Yeah,
got a laugh, haven't you?
of course you have. Yeah, it's all about the fun.
Okay.
Have fun.
Do you rather have money or free time?
Um, sorry, fly. Um, um, I shouldn't be thinking too long about this. I know. I have two
Surprised.
children. I've been very, very poor. It's very easy to say money, but obviously money doesn't make you happy. But ironically, what I do is expensive. So if I had the free time, I probably wouldn't be able to afford the thing to be able to
Do
fill
it.
the free time. um, You've got to say free time, ain't you? I mean, you've got to make time for your family and things like that.
Yeah,
Otherwise, there's no point. Money, you
yeah. I
know,
mean,
yeah,
granted, it's a bit of a loaded question, but
yeah,
I like to think that the theory is, although I can't prove it because I don't have any,
yeah,
but the theory is that money, in fact, buys you the free time. You
yeah.
know, if you have
Probably,
enough,
yeah,
that you can
yeah,
perhaps
yeah.
pay someone else to do some of the boring shit you don't want to do, freeing
Possibly,
yourself up to,
yeah,
or you could build a robot to do some of the boring shit you don't want to do.
yeah, yeah. I could do that as
And
well.
then,
Yeah. I was like the quote of, I mean, I'm a big Only Fools and Horses fan. Grandad says famously, whether you've got too much or none at all, money's always a problem. And
yeah,
I tend to believe
great.
that, you
Yeah.
know.
Okay. Oh, here's one. You like this.
Go on.
Would you rather see a puppet show or a magic show?
Puppet show.
That was quick.
Yeah. I've got a big, big respect for anyone that does puppetry. It's something that I never thought I'd have to do because obviously I'm controlling number five and I do a lot of puppetry.
Yeah.
And I've met a lot of people that do it. Tim Blaney, he was it is a lot of puppetry, and we've met like Hackety Dog, and Phil, the guy who puppets him. It's magical to watch it. It's great. You know, when I'm controlling Johnny Five, and sometimes I'll try and stay out of the way, and I'll have a headset on, and a kid will come up and say hello, and I go, "Hi, how are you? Are you having a good day?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh my, the robot's talking to me," and they're like, they look round and what's, and it's magic. So yeah,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. Who doesn't enjoy the odd magic trick? But puppetry, I think you can really, especially with kids, it's brilliant. You know, their faces light up,
Yeah.
and yeah, you know,
Oh man, I tell if the right people are watching, the ultimate ultimate guest that I could have on here. Um,
yeah,
I don't want Keanu Reeves, right? I mean, he seems lovely and all that, but I don't
yeah,
want Keanu Reeves. I don't want Lady Gaga. I don't want Taylor Swift,
yeah.
right? If if the Muppets ever want to come on
Oh,
here,
I
right?
love Jim Henson Company.
It's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
We're on.
yeah. I
That would
agree.
be
Yeah,
a dream.
yeah. I mean,
Love those
I think
guys.
the adults that stopped loving the Muppets, you know, they've grown up, and there's no cure for those people, because I think you should watch the Muppets at Christmas or whenever
Oh
and
my god.
still love it.
Oh, that
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Muppet Mayhem, the latest series that they did
yeah,
on Disney with the band, that was bliss.
yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
that
my personal, but I love Muppets Christmas Carol. Every
yeah,
Christmas when it comes on, I go right back to 8 years old, you know, and it's,
that's
you know, I watch
it.
it with my kids, and it's great. And I've got here's a fun fact for you. So, fun fact time. Um, so in the second film, Johnny Five was actually puppeteered by the Canadian branch of the Jim Henson Company, by three people. So technically, Johnny Five is a Muppet.
Hey,
Yeah,
oh, that's a claim to fame, Johnny.
yeah,
Yeah, as I think.
yeah. He's also a Muppet.
Fantastic. We've got a couple more. Polka dots or stripes?
Ooh.
Doesn't give a
Maybe,
fuck.
it's stripes, I guess. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anyone look good in polka dots.
Okay, let's go for some of the potentially controversial
Oh,
ones. Would you rather be a vampire or a werewolf?
um, vampire. Don't know
Every,
why. I don't know. Cooler. I don't know.
yeah, yeah,
I don't know.
uh, and everybody says vampire. Now I know,
Yeah.
I get it, I do. But yeah, I've got to try and make a strike for Team Werewolf somewhere. I think there's two of us, and that's including me.
Is that you as well?
That's ever said
Was it called
werewolf. So
lycanthropy, or whatever it's
yeah,
called? Yeah.
lycanthropy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I know they're very cool. I know they're very sexy, right? But this just comes from Hollywood brainwashing because Hollywood is cheap, right? Because
Yeah.
you want to make a vampire movie, you need a dude,
Yeah.
and that's about it. You might get some wax fangs, but you
Yeah.
can kind of get away with that for the most part as well. It's not 100%
Yeah.
essential to even have the fangs, right?
Yeah.
But you make a werewolf movie, and you know you've got to stump up the cash for at least one transformation scene. Like
Yeah.
if you
That's your
only
budget gone.
one, if you only do it once, right at the end or something, but it's got to happen once. So it's just Hollywood being cheap that they go, you know what, kids, vampires are better,
The
and they
reader.
fooled you all.
Yeah. The reader.
It's not true. It's just that they're cheap. Vampires are cheap, whether they sparkle or not. They're cheap.
Yeah.
Okay, Star Trek or Star Wars?
Um. Oh, I watched a lot of Star Trek growing up, but I think I've got more of a soft spot for Star Wars. Mainly because I've spent a lot of time around droid builders with me going to conventions,
Yeah.
and there isn't too many Trekkies, and I always appreciate those that are into that. And like I say, I've watched a lot of Jean-Luc Picard, but yeah, I love Star Wars mostly because of the droids and whatnot. I've always wanted to build a master droid. I don't know why. You know, most people go R2D2 or C3PO or whatever, but I love the little black master droids that go beep, 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 and zoom around. I think they're great.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I'm the same. I remember like never, never missing an episode of Next Gen. Like it was a thing. It was like somebody wants me to do something else. It's like, can you wait 45 minutes? You know,
Yeah.
or you know, I'm leaving. I've got to leave early. You know, I would make such an effort for that show. One of the last shows that I felt that way about. I mean, of course, it's a lot easier now to catch up as and when you're ready, streaming and interneting and binging and stuff, than it was back in the day. But yeah, having said that, yeah, Star Wars kid every time.
Yeah.
And I think it is partly it's the Lucasfilm, the Henson, you know, stuff that's in there, Frank Oz, of course, and all of that, like that original trilogy, and even the two bullshit Ewok movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were just a huge thing.
Yeah.
A huge thing.
Cultural
And
phenomenon.
always will be. It got me in the feels when I was at that right age and all that. And yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll never stop.
Yeah. But I do think, I do think that Star Trek, let's say though, there's so many episodes and there's so many interesting themes and morality questions and things like that, and you can lose yourself so much. You know, there's only so much. I mean, there's a lot of Star Wars you can consume, shall we say? But I don't think anything takes you on a ride like Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'll see how this one grabs you. You may not care. Dragon Ball or Pokemon?
Pokemon. I've never been an anime person, though I grew up with Pokemon, and I actually got Johnny Five signed by Veronica Taylor, Ash Ketchum, his voice, and it holds a special place.
Wow.
You know, unfortunately, half of it's broken off because the back cover that it was signed fell off the back of him, and it landed right on her signature. So you can just see like, Veronica, I choose you, and then that's it. And if I ever meet her again, I've got to get her to sign it again because it broke my heart when it happened. I was like, you know, it could have landed on anyone, you know, and you know, I've got so many signatures on there from the most random people, but of all of them, why was it had to be her? You know.
Well, I was going to say this for a bit later, but you keep dropping stuff, so you keep dropping names, so I'm going to do it now. I usually like to ask, have you ever met a celebrity? Evidently, multiple.
Many. Yeah, it's just part of being on the convention scene, and most of them are lovely, lovely people. It's odd because you can quite easily idolise these people, and they don't seem like real people, and you meet them, and it's quite nice because we get treated really well for the most part, and you just get talking to them, and you ask them questions. I mean, my wife, she could talk to anyone about anything. You know, she's a social chameleon sort of thing. And yeah, she's befriended many the most random people you can imagine. You know, from my mum once made peanut butter cookies, and we just went around all the celebrities going, "Do you want to try these?" And yeah, Clemso was like, "Oh, this is brilliant," you know. And it's like I'm talking to the guy from Star Wars and what else was he in? He was in Doctor Strange, and we sat there eating peanut butter cookies with him. And I once stayed in a hotel, and I remember distinctly that it was quite early days, and it was at a hotel. And I went down and I went to go and get some sausages for breakfast, and it was the same hotel that the celebrities were in. And to the left of me was the Red Power Ranger. I forget his name. I do apologise. And to the right of me was John Rhys Davis, coming from Lord of the Rings.
Oh, love that guy.
And it was like the most surreal thing. And I remember him. And he talked to the chef, and he's like, "These are brilliant sausages, really well spoken, but absolutely brilliant sausages." Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, how's your day?" He says, "Not too bad, not too bad, considering the alternative." And I was just like, it's just so bizarre. I've been transported into this world, and yeah, it's great. I've met, I'm trying to think of the biggest one, Nick Frost, maybe. I've met him. Steve Guttenberg, I've met him. I mean, I was never a big Whovian, but I've met nearly every single Doctor Who character aside from David Tennant. Which ironically, have you
ever been starstruck for anyone? Has anyone just made you like, or has someone been there and you've had the opportunity to meet and you've just gone, "No, I can't do it." You've just like, "No, I'm not." The anxiety gets the better of you. You're just like, maybe next time.
I was very nervous to meet Tim Blainer, but when I realised how nice he was, because they always say never meet your idols, and he was that nice, it very quickly disappeared because he was friendly, and when he starts doing the voice of Johnny Five, and it's just like, I mean, I was friends with him, and he sent me a message in Johnny Five's voice. I think it was my birthday or something, and he sent me a happy birthday message on his phone. And honestly, like the 10-year-old in my head screamed. I was just like, "Oh!" It was magical. But it was nice to meet. These people. You hope that they're all nice, especially when they portray themselves. You think, "Oh, such a nice character." And but the one I say regret. It wasn't really a regret when we went to Dallas. We obviously spent the day with Steve Guttenberg, and we was only supposed to just meet him, but he was that nice. He was like, "Oh no, would you like to spend the day with me and do photo shoots and panels and things?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course I would." How can I say no to that? Yeah. But while I was there, they had Michael Bean there, from and I just said hello to him and walked off because I was that happy of meeting Steve Guttenberg, and it wasn't an ignoring thing. I was just like, "Hi, how you doing? Yeah, no bad." And at any other time, I was like, "What have I done that for? He was in Aliens, and he was in why? Terminator and Aliens. I should have gone and asked for his autograph or something." But it's I wish I had.
Wow. So celebrities are 10 a penny in your world. That's fine. None of us are jealous at all. Watch it. But have you ever seen a UFO?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck you. Everything happens to me.
No, I mean, it wasn't good because growing up was terrified of aliens. Like it was the thing that haunted my dreams. I don't know where I got it from, to the point where when I was really young, I was actually scared of ET because of the bit where
that guy. I'm on record more than once. ET's the one thing. Yeah, not Freddy Krueger, not Jaws, not the Xenomorphs. ET, scares the bejesus out of me. He's horrible, ugly, disgusting.
Weird.
I just really. Like if you have I say scared, I don't know what it is, but he unsettles, unnerves me.
Yeah. I agree with that.
A fear of spiders. I mean, you can squish them.
Yeah.
Right? So you're not scared, like you don't run out the room.
Yeah.
Like if I met ET, I would gladly kick him right between the fucking eyes, have him fall over with his little legs going up and down, and then leg it. But I would. have to kick him and leg it because I'm not hanging
Yeah.
out with that guy.
Yeah, I think it's the one scene where they find him in the river. You know, where he's really ill in the river. I've just got visions of that as a kid, and I saw that, and I didn't sleep for about a month. I don't know why.
I mean,
I just
and
didn't.
again, it's not the first time round, but as you were growing up, particularly you become a parent.
Yeah.
Then you start thinking, okay, so how do I handle like a complete stranger, like as strange as it gets, from another world, who's like naked, hanging out with
Yeah.
my kids,
Yeah.
hiding in my house, in the kid's room, right, with his like long bulbous appendage,
Yeah.
and like putting it in kids' faces and shit, like not happy
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
Not
And
particularly happy
it's
about that.
not cute, is there? I don't know who designed them, but
Want
it's a
people to go
weird
to,
thing.
yeah. People go to prison for a very, very long time for that kind of thing.
Yeah, it is sort of nightmare fuel.
And we're supposed to adore this motherfucker. Like, no, I'm not having it.
Yeah.
I'm not having it. You should there's nothing wrong with Fisher Stevens' performance in Short Circuit. Bad
Yeah,
ET.
yeah. Yeah, answering the real
Bad
issues.
ET. I mean, we never. ET's just short for extraterrestrial. We never find out the little guy's name. I mean, I'm thinking it's probably Savile or something along those
Yeah,
lines.
something devious like that. Yeah. Yeah. What did he do while he was in that closet?
Yeah. Oh, man. There'd be some of those clothes just had to get burnt. There was no washing those stains out. I'm pretty fucking sure of that.
Yeah, definitely.
We're taking a strange turn here. Anyway,
Yeah.
UFOs.
You do. Yeah.
So, yeah, you've seen a UFO.
Yes. If you want me to diverge a little bit deeper, when I was a kid, I had a bit of an experience. I stayed at my grandparents' house, and I remember being very ill. And I'm almost certain it was a fever dream, but it's always something that stays with you. And I remember being very ill and falling asleep on the sofa. And from the sofa, they had a set of big bay windows with curtains that never closed. And I think they left me asleep downstairs because I wasn't very well. They didn't want to wake me. But I remember waking up and seeing a light coming from behind, because their garden went onto fields. And I remember seeing like a really bright light, and I went outside and walked down the garden. And as I was walking, these figures were walking towards me, and the sort of light sort of got brighter and brighter until I went like that. And then I woke up on the kitchen floor, and that's where my grandma and granddad found me, on the kitchen floor. And it's almost certainly a fever dream, but Jesus Christ, it kept me, there's a reason why I was terrified of it growing up,
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
So then, you can't really have one without the other. You ever seen a ghost?
I've never seen one, though I've lived in a house which was very haunted. I live with a friend who is dead against ghosts and things like that. But the door used to unlock itself all the time, and we'd go and lock it like a big bolt on the inside, and shoot bolt. And we'd go and sit down, and it would unlock itself, and we'd go back through, and we both look at each other and go, no. And that used to happen quite regularly.
Wow.
But that was the only really thing that happened. But yeah, it's one of those things. I'm a very, very logical man, and I think, aliens maybe, I can't see why not, but there's not enough proof. But it's one of those, you look at each other and go, what's going off? I can't explain this. And it's not like I'm just nipping for some, drink or whatever the fridge, and it's opened. We'd literally hear it unbolt and go back through, and it'd be unbolted.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing I've had, and that was enough.
Yeah, that'd be more than enough for me too.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yes,
the main thing I do on here is movies, TV. You can't see here. You can only see the neck up from it. If you could see down there, it'd be pretty obvious I'm definitely an indoors kid.
Right, okay. Well, to be honest, I can't see you because the camera's still not working. So I'm literally just having a radio show here.
You're not missing much. But I always say, I like the great outdoors as much as the next guy, assuming we're talking about John Candy as
Oh, what a great film. John Candy's the best.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
a fantastic film. Yeah,
oh.
yeah, and far too few people have watched that.
It doesn't come up often enough. Well, from other
No,
people, I bring it up, but
yeah.
other people can say, "Well, yeah." So, some of the usual questions, things like, "What was the last film you watched that you'd recommend?" Doesn't necessarily have to be a new
Ooh,
film, but
let me
something of
think.
new.
Uh, uh, um, I'll be honest with you, I don't watch too many films. I don't have time because usually I'm
I
machining or
imagine.
I
Yeah,
watch a lot of YouTube and stuff. I think the last one I watched is because my wife had it on was the Hunger Games. It was one of those. I can't remember which one it was. It was all right. You know, would I recommend it? Yeah, it was okay. But I can't remember the last one I specifically thought, I'm putting that on and sitting down and watching
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fair enough. Fair enough.
yeah.
So, uh, I don't know if it's possible with all this machining. I don't know if it's too noisy.
Mm.
But what would be what's on Ryan's playlist?
Me, I've got
Like,
I've got an unbelievable music playlist. Like, what sort of music do I like? Or
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
everything. Honestly, people say that I like from um, Le Campanella. I've got a particular soft spot for uh, I like dub music, dub as in old reggae music
Oh
as well.
yeah,
I like
yeah.
that. I like ska music. I like metal. Um, I like emo music, Funeral for a Friend. Particularly, I love it. Obviously, 80s music, like child of the 80s. You
Yeah.
can you could just leave absolute 80s on all day long, and I'll be quite happy sit there listening to that. Um, yeah, the only sort of music I don't really like. I'm not particularly fond of R&B, and I think it's just a thing of getting older. The older you get, the less you like modern music. I think that's just a thing that everyone goes through. You
Well,
hear something and go,
yeah.
I'm
I
not.
mean, I really, I've started realizing I tend to find myself like I'm really trying not to be that miserable old git.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
everything was better in my day. Like I
yeah,
always no, but I will always like try this new stuff, and I try and be as like open and up for it as I could possibly be, because I am.
yeah, yeah,
Like I genuinely am. Because I deeply miss that feeling of hearing things or seeing things or whatever and getting
yeah,
excited.
yeah,
I mean, by all accounts,
yeah,
I mean, yeah, it's fucking 2024, so it's fairly safe to say it's all been done. Whatever
yeah,
it is. There's not a book you can read, not a film you can watch, not a song you can
yeah.
rock
That's
out
been
to
done
that's
20
like,
times.
that
Yeah,
isn't derivative of things that have gone before.
yeah,
Um, but it can all still be done well. It can all still be done to a high standard
yeah. I agree.
that I could still really enjoy.
Yeah,
And there's part of me that still likes to keep looking in the hope that I'll get that wow factor will somehow pop up that I will. Something will make me go, fuck, I've never heard anything like that.
yeah. I
And
agree. I mean,
it's still possible.
yeah,
It
I agree. Sound of
seems to get
Silence
less
by
likely
Disturbed.
every year, but
Yeah,
still
when that came
possible.
out, I thought, wow, I didn't think that Simon. I'm not saying it's good as the Simon and Garfunkel version, but I heard that and thought, wow, this is great.
Yeah, I mean that's what
Sometimes
tell
they
like
keep putting a spin on it.
yeah, most of the artists that I have on it's uh, a bit different with robotics, but most of the same general art rules apply.
Mm,
That it's like it may have all been done, but keep doing it anyway
yeah,
because it's never been done the way you do it. You
yeah,
know, um, and that whatever that tiniest little nuance is about the way you do it
mm,
might be the reason that someone out there prefers your version to anybody
yeah,
else's. But whatever it is, whether you're painting, sculpting, music, acting, whatever it is that you're doing, whatever that story you're telling, that self-expression, however you've chosen to do that, um,
yeah,
then like never just be like, and you'll have your idols and your favorites, the people that inspired you, And
mm.
some people, it's kind of easy to think, or maybe it's even someone else at grassroots level that you see, and they come along and you just go, wow, they're so much
Yeah,
better than me. And you can think like, well, I may as well not bother then. And
yeah,
I always try to encourage people to go, no, keep fucking doing it. Whenever you're enjoying it anyway, keep
yeah. I agree.
doing
I
it.
agree. Yeah, I mean, even I suppose the other way around. One of my favourite songs of all time is "Hurt" by Johnny Cash, and I mean, Nine Inch Nails did that, and they're nothing at all alike, but both of them are fantastic. And yeah, they can be completely different. Same lyrics, same sort of I don't know what you'd call it, the tempo and
Yeah,
everything,
yeah.
but just completely different songs. And yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, so, right. Here's the thing. Let's dig into this a little bit. I don't know. So, is there a, is there, do you have anything, anything from in the realms of pop culture? So, movies, music, comic books, whatever it might be, a cartoon. Is there something that, well, we'll do it this way around first. Is there a thing that, like, it's kind of most people somewhat shit on it? It
Yeah,
didn't go down very well. It didn't make a ton of money. But
yeah,
I mean, we've already spoken about the Mario Brothers movie
yeah,
briefly, but a thing that you will still, that you want to fight for and just go, I know everybody says it's crap, kids, but,
yeah.
you know.
Hmm, not sure about that. Hmm, of
I mean, it's obviously it's all subjective. It's all individual taste and all that.
course.
But some things just get that kind of like I think like that Mario movie is pretty universally panned.
Yeah,
There's not many of us. It's great to
yeah,
find another one. We should start a club or something.
yeah,
Not
yeah,
that you have
definitely.
the time. Um,
I think maybe again, inevitably, like everything in my life, it's tied to Short Circuit. But I really like Chapper. A lot of people sort of didn't like that, and it's quite funny, really, because a lot of people said it's the spiritual successor to Short
yeah,
Circuit, and I sort of get that. But I think a lot of people disliked it because they had the band Dion Warden, and I don't think that went down well with people because what they do is different, very
yeah.
different. But I really, really, really enjoyed it. Um, and
I
yeah,
actually I purposely avoided
yeah,
it because for that I avoided watching it because it was like it's a Short Circuit remake. I don't
yeah,
need that in my life. You haven't even got the balls to call it Short Circuit. You know what I mean? You're trying to
yeah.
pretend
It
it's your own
basically
original
is.
idea,
Yeah,
but it just looks like a Short Circuit knockoff. I'm not sure I need
yeah,
that. So I didn't. Obviously, I didn't say it was bad because I just didn't watch it because I just thought I
yeah,
don't need it. I've got one, and I'm quite happy with it. Thank you very much.
yeah,
Eventually, curiosity and boring rainy
yeah,
Wednesdays get
yeah.
the better of you,
When it's on,
and it's great. And I watched it, and I was like, "This is great. I
yeah,
really like it. I
I agree.
genuinely do.
Yeah,
I think it's a great film. It's not
it's not
the
for
Short
everyone.
Circuit
Yeah,
comparisons are completely justified,
yeah,
but it's very much does its own thing
yeah, yeah.
with
It's
that
just
as a base,
a separate thing.
with the very same basic concept, and then it very much goes its own way.
Yeah,
Where all of that, they've remade Short Circuit, just kind of melted away, and I just got into it and enjoyed
yeah.
the shit out of it.
Yeah, loosely it's similar, but it's not too dissimilar. You go, say they've copied this or what not. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'll say one thing that I also quite like, though it's well known for being terrible. For those again, Short Circuit that know it, they did actually do a somewhat of a third film with Johnny Five in. It's called Hot Cars, Cold Facts, and it's an American infomercial where
All
Johnny
right.
Five becomes a citizen and he buys a pickup truck and it gets stolen. And it's 45 minutes of going, kids, make sure you lock your car doors and do this, that, and the other and get an immobilizer. And Johnny Five's in it. It's very, very, very cheesy. And very jarring as well because Tim Blaney doesn't do the voice for Johnny.
Oh,
So it's a bit, yeah. But it's definitely Johnny Five that's in it.
that's
Um, yeah,
like oh, I can't remember his name, but when Peter Weller is RoboCop.
Yeah, oh
And
yeah.
it's just
Um,
wrong.
yeah.
I mean,
I've got a pet
an,
peeve with that film.
an
I
actor
mean,
can't play a character forever.
yeah,
We've all got to understand that.
of course, yeah,
But sometimes it's just, yeah, don't make it then. If you can't do it,
yeah, sure.
don't
Leave
do
it
it.
alone. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I suppose it's like was it Aliens 3, where most people pretend that Aliens 3 didn't exist
Yeah.
because it's nothing like the rest.
But to be fair with the Alien franchise on the whole,
Yeah,
as a franchise, that to be fair, it kind of tries to do something different with each movie
yeah,
that's been released.
yeah.
Now
I will
that,
give it that. Yeah,
and so to more or less success, depending on again your personal taste.
yeah,
But to generally, and there isn't just one guy in charge trying to keep a cohesive narrative anyway, the way there is like with the Marvel movies. If I wish
yeah,
there
yeah.
was,
They've
because
all got
that's
their own.
the world of Alien that was built. If sort of Cameron, you know,
Yeah,
or Cameron or Scott, if they could
yeah,
have just had the reins and like final say over like everything,
yeah,
then they'd be much better movies. But the fact that they do something a little different is also somewhat commendable, I think,
yeah,
in its own way.
yeah. I agree. Yeah,
Because I've always said, look, aliens. See, they didn't even want to put a two on it. They didn't want it to be. It's almost like they wanted to hide the fact that it's a sequel to Alien. With Alien
yeah,
being as iconic and amazing as it is, you don't make Alien 2. I mean, you
yeah.
did.
You can't. Yeah,
You
yeah.
did, and it
And I
totally
think
is.
Alien 2 better. Aliens, I think it's brilliant. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Aliens is like the perfect action movie.
Yeah,
It doesn't miss a beat. But
yeah. It's suspense all the way through, isn't it? You know,
yeah,
I agree. When they brought out an extended version, but yeah, bring it on. I mean, an extra half an hour of scenes deleted. Yeah, I'll watch that.
but by all accounts, but if you're old enough, or if you at least discovered these things somewhat in order, or before there was, what is there now, six of them, seven?
Yeah,
If you at least discovered these things maybe when there was only the first three,
yeah,
to go from Alien, right, slow paced, psychological
yeah.
horror,
It was.
right?
You only see Alien a few times, don't you? It's very stalkerish. Yeah, you don't see them very much, do you?
No, it's to go from that to a just full on like balls out popcorn munching space marines pulse
Yeah,
rifles
yeah. Action, non-stop.
to
Yeah,
go from Alien to Aliens
yeah.
as a legitimate follow-on sequel is quite jarring and wrong and shouldn't really work.
Oh,
And like,
bloody
if
does.
you had two
Yeah,
films as different
yeah,
as sequels, like coming out this year and next
yeah,
year, it probably wouldn't work, and people would probably hate it and be like,
yeah,
"Why is it so different?" Especially if the first one was enjoyed.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I mean, they captured lightning in a bottle. I suppose it's. Yeah, credit to them. Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah,
I've actually thought. Sorry, going back slightly. I've actually thought of a film that most people hate
go
and,
for it.
and I quite like. Do you remember? I think it was about 2000. The Lost in Space film that had Matt LeBlanc in.
I do, I
Um,
do. I certainly
I
remember the theme tune.
quite like that. Even now, when it's on, I'll sit and watch
But
it. It's a bit of a guilty pleasure when I do watch it.
yeah, because
Yeah,
it also has
Gary
Gary
Oldman in.
Oldman.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It
Gary
snaps.
Oldman just
Yeah,
being Gary, being
yeah,
batshit.
brilliant.
Because if you give that guy any kind of free rein to ad lib or just go like, "Yeah, Gary,
It's
just
gold.
do your
Yeah,
thing,"
yeah,
it's worth watching. I mean, maybe not so much for Matt LeBlanc, but it's definitely worth watching
it's,
for Gary Oldman.
yeah, yeah. It wasn't
Insane
the
performance.
strongest character in the film, was it? But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I'm so kind of. I know, like, Friends was a big thing, but like, we're gonna remake like an old school beloved classic.
yeah,
We're gonna turn it into a summer blockbuster.
yeah,
We need a like sci-fi action hero to sit in the chair and captain the ship,
Yeah.
and you pick Joey.
Yeah.
So
I mean, someone
that
made
that
that call
to
somewhere.
think that that was a to think that that was a conversation in a boardroom around a table with very high-paid people, and
Yeah.
that's what they came up with is insane.
I mean, there
However
was some crazy
popular it
things that
is,
happened in there
you know.
that years. Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, but it ain't too bad. Yeah, and I do love the jazzed up techno fucking theme tune.
Yeah,
I
I
really
do
like it.
remember. Yeah, yeah, it was very, very, very good, and they did their own thing. I mean, I don't think you could even call it faithful, but I was watching it, and it was great. I mean, it had a track robot on it. That's probably why I liked it. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
it
enjoyed it.
does. It does. Yeah, I mean, I'll throw a couple of my perennial choices at
Yeah,
you on that subject. Kevin Costner's Waterworld.
yeah, yeah.
I
I like that one. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
I
great
don't
film.
care. I do. I like it.
Yeah,
I don't particularly like Kevin Costner. I'm not particularly Kevin Costner fan, so it's not bias.
yeah,
It's not Costner bias. I think I like Waterworld.
yeah,
I like Field of Dreams.
yeah.
Uh, uh, and there's another one I can't. Maybe The Postman. I think. I'm not a huge Costner fan. But I do like Waterworld. Again, Dennis Hopper, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe it's because I'm a Dennis Hopper fan. But
yeah,
I like Waterworld. It was like the most expensive film ever made, I think, at the time.
yeah. I believe it was. It was.
Uh,
Yeah, I mean, I remember going to. I think it was Disney, and
so
they had a
it
big
kind of
scene
had
on
no
it. It was
choice but
great.
to make a shit ton of money in order to make
Yeah,
that back and be considered a success. So I think if you look it up, I imagine if you wiki this movie, it probably made more money than we could ever dream of.
yeah.
But
Oh, it's
as it
definitely.
fell short of the money that it cost to make it in the first place,
Yeah,
then that's not good enough for the men in suits.
yeah.
And so there's no chance of a sequel. There's no franchise coming from this. You know, it's considered a flop. But
But
yeah,
was
I
great.
have a
Yeah,
soft spot for that film. It's don't use money. How much? Look, money is not the yardstick of success.
no,
It,
not
it's
at all.
it's just not. I get it, right? If you've put money into something, you'd like to see that money back. And of
Of
course, I
course.
get that. If I had money invested in something, I would like to see it back.
Yeah,
But the thing you invested in, even if somehow it doesn't make that money, it doesn't mean that that art isn't worthwhile. It doesn't mean that it's not good. Maybe it's ahead of its time. Maybe it just
yeah.
didn't find
I
its
agree.
audience right there. I mean, because I know a lot of things that I like didn't exactly make billions of dollars. And
Yeah,
there's lots of things that most definitely did and do make billions of dollars that I'm not so keen on. But that's just me.
yeah,
That's just one little hairy man's opinion. So it's just me, meaningless, completely meaningless. But speaking to artists across all walks since I've been doing this, it's like that's not the end goal. You know, the end
yeah.
goal isn't for you
Uh,
to make money. I mean, if you like I said, if you could find a way to turn your passion into a way to potentially pay the bills, a way to
yeah,
get away from working for the man or
yeah.
whatever,
I agree.
then you should certainly, if you that opportunity, if you could try and make that opportunity occur, then you should probably put some time and effort into making that happen. Most certainly, but it's got to be about the passion, about the art in the first
Definitely.
place.
Yeah, and I think as well, if you've got that, then it ends up being something far better. If you know people put their heart and soul into something, it's this magic can happen. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree. And
I feel like clearly I spent way too many. If I could be a little selfish for a minute, I feel like
please, yeah,
I played way too many gigs, being the best band on the bill
mm.
that nobody liked, while
Well, why you say that?
vastly vastly inferior bands
Right.
uh, had way more people coming away from the bar and coming down the front and all of that, selling the t-shirts because we had the songs, they had a good-looking singer.
Oh, right.
You know,
Okay.
like we had the songs, they had the gimmick. You know,
Right.
they had the outfits, they had the pyro, or whatever.
You're
But
like, yeah.
but I was genuinely thinking, right, but because we're like, three guys in jeans and t-shirts, that just
Yeah.
doesn't cut it these days. No matter how good the fucking songs are, no matter how well we perform them, and no matter how much passion and integrity we tried to show, no matter how much I'm on stage, you know,
Giving it
naked,
all. Yeah.
bleeding, soul exposed,
Yeah.
with this message that I felt was my duty to deliver to the
Yeah.
world, my heart and soul. And then here come these guys, jumping around in clearly choreographed, not lost
Yeah.
in the moment, but clearly choreographed ways. And then, oh, look, he's took his shirt off, the rip
Yeah. No
bastard.
one's ever done that before.
And now
Yeah.
all the girls are going, ooh, and, all like, oh, here they come. They're going to be an instrumental band. Oh, no. Now here walks on the singer. Here she comes in her hot pants and her fishnets. And
Yeah.
of course, they're getting more attention than me, and I don't blame people for that, but
Yeah.
I'm
It is
just
a
thinking,
shame.
but they're very average. Well, they're not necessarily bad by no means, but I'm
Yeah.
thinking, but they're very like by the
Mm.
numbers at least. It's
Yeah.
very formulaic shit that they're
Very
doing
safe.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed the first song, but then when to me they basically just repeated the first song again and
Mm.
again and again and again for like 45 minutes. They had one song, you know, and so I was like, and trying to G up the
Frustrating.
other guys in the band because it's pretty fucking obvious that we should probably change our name to Lead Balloon. At this point, it was actually, we may as well kick that idea around because why not lean into it? That might be the gimmick that actually works for us.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a shame. I mean, it's not something I've ever really been involved with, but my wife's brother did that sort of thing. They did an Oasis tribute band, and they had limited success. A bit of something, but not nothing.
yeah.
Thing. But I remember him saying it's just so cutthroat. It's favoritism and it's very very
Yeah,
competitive.
it's insanely competitive. It's always nice to
Yeah,
hear people if they've got in their particular genre, like you mentioned, like with the droid builders and things like that,
yeah,
that you can to actually be able to share information and tips and tricks or whatever.
mm.
It's great because in the in the rock and roll world, I mean, it's not the same. It's much much harder for no one's that other band that you see that's doing better than you, and then you're on the same bill,
Yeah,
accosting them after sound check and being like, how do I get where you are? Have you got any tips? Have you got,
yeah,
have you got any numbers? Have you got any numbers? Have you got any names and numbers you could pass on of good bookers or
yeah.
venues or whatever? And it's like, they're never giving you that because if they've got it, they ain't fucking
Yeah,
telling
it's
anybody
of
else,
course, yeah.
and it's, and
They
I
don't
was
want
the idiot
people
that
to
was
know
always,
because it's competition to them. Yeah,
yeah,
I get it.
which is,
It's
but
sad, really.
because I mean that's why one of the big reasons I had to stop because I was big on I wanted to build this community.
Mm.
I saw like with the like back in the punk days, only like because the media makes it a competition, but in reality, there's only competition in that healthy way of you hear their song and go, shit, that's good.
I need to step
I'm going to write
it
something
up. Yeah,
better,
yeah,
But it's
yeah.
good. It's healthy. You don't actually actively hate one another.
Cool.
And in fact, if anybody's
Yeah,
got a leg up to share,
yeah,
also like when it comes with the fans and sticking around and meeting and greeting and signing autographs or whatever it
yeah,
is, people are just like, oh no, I'm a star. I don't have time for that. Or it's like, fuck you. Like,
yeah.
I
And there's a lot
really
to be said
got
for being
really, really
humble as well. Come
disheartened.
on.
Yeah, so it's also great that it seems like you've had a chance to meet, the celebrities you've met, much higher up the ladder. That most of them have been good experiences for you as well.
Yeah,
So that's it's
yeah.
always nice to hear as well.
It is. Yeah. So yeah, it's obviously not a universal thing. And as well, the very little negative. I'm not saying the word, but when I've gone up and one's a bit of a personal hero of mine, and I was like, it was a YouTuber, and I was like, oh, I watched you through the pandemic. I really really appreciate if you did. You know, you helped spur me on and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I was like, is there a chance that? And I was like, could I have a photo? And you know, would you like to sign John? And he was just like. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. And I'd like to say that it just had a hard day, but I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
like, you know, it's sort of, it leaves a little mark and you think, oh, I hope he's not like that all the time. But he probably just had a long day. You know, it's one of those.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
everybody has a bad day, but
of course.
if you if it's always your like end goal to put yourself in that position, like being in a band, like being an actor, like being a fucking YouTuber, by all accounts, you wanted to be famous, you wanted to
But,
be recognized,
yeah,
you wanted people
yeah,
to
you
come
made
and
that
say,
decision. Yeah,
hey, you
yeah,
inspired me, you wanted that. So you've got to be when somebody does
got to play
that,
the game.
that thing
Yeah,
that you actually wanted them to do, that was the whole point,
yeah,
or a part of it.
yeah,
Then yeah, then you've got to do it because you may find yourself like yourself. You wanted to build a replica Johnny Five for yourself,
mm,
but through doing this, you've now found yourself in this position, like you say, and you see the kids light up, and they don't even know what it is. They didn't
yeah.
grow up with the movie and shit like that, but it's still this magical experience.
It is. It's
You
great.
just I think you already have clicked onto this that you're not allowed to have a bad day.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. I'll never
or at
tell
least
a
you've
kid
got
to
to
go
kind
away
of
'cause it's not fair. You
yeah
know, um, you know.
follow it
I feel
down,
bad.
hold on to it, and you're gonna have to try and work through it and let it out later. You know,
Yeah,
because right
I
now
agree.
you've got a job to do. It's not even the job you intended
Yeah,
when you set out on this journey, but it's the one you found yourself with. And there's a
yeah,
certain way. I think you've just got to put yourself across, and it's when people are. It's almost like when people are surprised uh, at someone with some sort of level of celebrity being nice.
mm.
That tells you something because we shouldn't be surprised because that's just the default setting of
People
well,
should be
generally
nice
being
to each
a
other.
human
Yeah,
in general. I like to think, just generally, whatever it is, if you're just walking up, just passing someone in the street and they just go, morning,
yeah.
it's just nice to say, oh,
Common
good morning,
courtesy.
but everybody's entitled to a bad day, of
Of
course, but,
course, yeah,
but
yeah. That's why I
but
don't read into it too
yeah,
much. I don't think it's fair if I do. I mean, I find myself feeling guilty. Obviously, Johnny Five's now, rather than just be in my workshop and sort of not really seen by anyone, apart from conventions and events.
yeah,
I feel guilty because when he's in the shop, obviously he can't be on all the time. He's got to be on charge,
yeah,
or it's just not healthy to keep something on 24/7. So I only turn it on when I'm moving about, or if someone comes, is made a journey. So oh, I'd love to come and see him. Could organise it, and yeah, no problem. But people come in, and I find myself feeling guilty because I can't have him on all
I
the time.
bet, yeah,
Yeah, it's like it doesn't feel right, but in the same sense, I can't. I mean, I'm making the models, and that's because of what I do, and I can't be operating Johnny and doing my job, and
yeah,
it's a bit of a strange thing, a bit of an unforeseen thing. I'm very happy that people get to come and meet him and have photos with him whenever they want on tap. But as a bit of a strange side effect, it's like, oh, it's like, does he work? And it's like, yeah, he works. He's just off. And it's like, oh, okay. And it's like, I know, but I'm in the
yeah,
middle.
oh,
I'm doing my job, you know.
yeah,
And then
no, but
setting him up as well is it's not 100% straightforward. It takes 5 minutes, and you can guarantee if I start doing it and someone else comes in, I'll turn him off and turn him back on, and I'd never get anything done. You know.
yeah, oh, well, so
Yeah.
if you haven't already, if you haven't already ticked it off your bucket list. Oh, okay. Look. Alive or dead? Let's go extreme. Let's go the full realms of fantasy.
Okay.
Alive or dead?
Yeah.
Uh, the celebrity you'd like to go out for a meal with.
Okay. We'll have a chat with him.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a celebrity, but I'd like to. I think I'd like to meet like Winston Churchill. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I think he's a bit of a British icon and a very strange character. But yeah, I'd like to see. I'd like to meet him and have a chat with him. I know it's a bit odd,
Yeah.
but it's like I say, is the epitome of old fashioned British, and it would be as well to see if he did live up to that, and he was, how people thought he was.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and it's an odd one. Yeah, just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Um, apart from that, um, I mean, I'm incredibly lucky. I mean, I sort of idolise Tim Blaney a little bit. He's Johnny Five to me, and um, I'm living that dream. Really, it's
Yeah.
to get a birthday message from Johnny Five, and I, I remember slightly going on a bit of a tangent here. I went to a convention and Tim was there and we spent 2 days with him, and it was so bizarre because they had a lot of the cast of uh, Back to the Future, and it's quite funny. I spent the entire day talking to Keith Coogan from Adventures of Babysitting, and I'd never seen the film,
Yeah.
and I spent all day talking to him, thinking he was one of these guys' managers, and I didn't know he was famous.
Brilliant.
And at the very end, he, he came over to Tim Blaney and he's like, you know, it's Corey Feldman's birthday today, don't you? And Tim was like, oh, I didn't know that. He says, do you know Corey? He goes, yeah, I know Corey. He says, Ryan, do you mind booting up Johnny Five and getting Tim to do a happy birthday message to Corey Feldman?
Oh.
And I sat there and I recorded it on my phone. I've still got it to this day. And it's Johnny Five wishing happy birthday to Corey Feldman. And I was like, this is
That's,
so bizarre, but it's
yeah.
the best thing I've ever done. And yeah, so, if Tim ever comes over in the local, I would like to, and it might happen. That's the nice thing about it. I'd like to
Yeah.
go out for dinner with him. And,
Oh, that'd be
yeah, it's
great. That'd be,
yeah, I think so.
oh, wow. So
Yeah.
you're having quite a head fuck of a year. But in a good way.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like I say, Johnny Five took us to Dallas. When that happened, we thought it was a joke. Genuinely,
Yeah.
we thought, and then it was how much is it going to cost? So you pluck a number out, you do the math, and you think, yeah, okay, sure, you're going to pay for us to go over.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, send us the bank details, we'll get you booked in. And it's like, what?
Wow.
And then it dawned on me, I was like, I've actually got to get him to the other side of the planet. Like,
God, yeah.
what have I done? And even when we turned up to the airport, we thought Jeremy Beadle would be there. Oh, you won £200. You thought you were going to America, didn't you? And we got on the plane, and it's like, God, it's happening! Wow, crazy! I genuinely can't believe. I realise I'm so incredibly lucky to be doing stuff like this. I never thought it'd take me. I mean, in fact, I'm chatting to you. It's fantastic. It's great.
Right.
I can't believe it. People have got the time to
I'm
sit and
afraid
talk to me.
yeah, I'm pretty sure you're just going to have to get used to it.
I don't know. We'll see.
At least for a little while.
Mhm.
And then so there are no. I mean, obviously, like you said, this has become a very much a full time thing
Yeah.
with Johnny. So there's not really another project. Or is it, if you ever, if it was ever possible to have the time somehow,
Yeah.
have all
Yeah.
this great stuff, and yet somehow have the time to build something else.
Yeah.
Is there a little nagging thing in the back of your mind? Do you kind of know what that would be?
Yeah.
I bet you do.
It'd be two things. I'd either like to build a Wally, just because I love him. Clearly, I've got a thing for track drive robots,
Yeah.
but he's cool, he's great, and again, kids that love him, but I am very aware that it's one of the reasons that I decided to go down the second build of Johnny Five as opposed to a Wally build, is because Disney's so precious about him that, it might land me in
Yeah.
some sort of trouble with them. I hope not, but I've got all the kit to build a second one as well, so that's why I did that. But other than that, I'd love to try and build a power loader from Aliens.
Oh,
I just think it's the coolest thing going. It's
yeah.
to get in this
Yeah. Well,
machine. I know it's on the realms of impossibility, but wow, if I could do that.
yeah. I was actually I was thinking the very same thing. I was going to throw that at you if you said something else. I mean, I have. I have seen them. I mean, they do. Well, they do use something very, very similar in Japan on the docks.
Yeah, they're like
Loading up
exoskeletons,
all
aren't
these crates. It's like it's almost there. I mean, well, to be fair, as a fan, it's close enough. I see one
they?
and I just go, "Fuck, they're real!"
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
shit. And they've been doing it for some time because it's Japan, and they're always like 20 years in front of everybody else.
exactly. Yeah,
So I
yeah.
mean,
Sod the money. We're making it.
fiction.
We're making these things real.
Yeah, to us, it's science fiction. In Japan, it's like somebody just went to get a job as a fork truck driver and ended up being like fucking Ripley and throwing crates around.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I'd love to have a go on one of them. It'd be great. Like I said, same with the ones that make the paralyzed people. They can make them walk again, and you just think that's technology done right, And
certainly
it's great.
Right. You know what? This has been fantastic. I'm gonna
I've
wrap this up.
thoroughly
I'm gonna
enjoyed
let you
myself.
go. Thank you very much for your time. Which,
And you,
as you said,
thank you very much for having me on.
you don't have that much of, so thank you for spending some of it with me. Here, kids,
Not at all. It's been great.
This has been Ryan Howard. This is the creator of the Johnny 5 replica. Just hit up the socials, get all the information, or just rewind this. Be kind, rewind.
Yes.
Watch this from the beginning, and all the information will be there. This will be up on YouTube within a few days. It'll be there as well. So,
fantastic.
What I used to do in the past is I could be great at giving a showbiz intro. I could talk complete bollocks about almost anything.
Yeah.
But we get down an 80s rabbit hole, and you will struggle to shut me the fuck up. So I always struggle with ending these episodes, but I found a way. I found a way.
Yes.
From here on in, this is what I do.
Okay.
If you'd be so kind, I'm going to get the guest. I like to get the guest to just say, "Till next time, keep it foxy."
Oh.
Now I'll leave it up to you how you want to do that. If you want to do it angry, if you want to do it comedy, if you want to do it somewhat erotically, if you want to do it if you want to give me a celebrity impression, if you've got one, or it's completely up to you. But if you could just give me till next time, keep it foxy, and I'll see you on the other side.
Okay. How should we do this? Okay. Do it in the Johnny 5 voice again.
Until next time, humans, keep it foxy.
Oh, brilliant.
See you later.
Thank you very much.
Kids, Ryan Howard and the Johnny 5 replica.
Bye. Thank you very much. See you later.